What's up, guys? Master DHP here, the guy that does the VTuber thing on the Twitch, and I do the stream sometimes. I just was having an idea before I started streaming and during streaming. During streaming. But I had an idea, and I wanted to talk about the state of Boons and Scourge Hooks. If you don't know, we were introduced a new survivor perk called Boon Totems, where survivors will go and bless a totem and get a area of effect that will benefit them and their teammates. And then killers also got a new mechanic called Scourge Hooks, completely unrelated. It allows 4 special hooks to spawn around the map that have a special effect whenever you hook a survivor and or they get unhooked from them. I really enjoy both of these mechanics. Both of them have a bit of issues, whether it be with the mechanic in general or the perks in general, and I just wanted to give a brief overview of both of them. Boons were added to the game during the Hour of Witch update, which featured Michaela Reed as the sole survivor, no killer, because we previously had the Cenobite, which introduced the Scourge Hooks. We'll get more into that whenever that comes around. Those 2 perks were Circle of Healing and Boon Shadow Step. I went ahead and I put all 4 current boons up to Ringu in a tier list right down below of where I think they are, the top tier, mid tier, and bottom tier. It should come as no real surprise that Boon Circle of Healing is up top. That is because of not the healing speed benefit, but the fact that you can self-care in it. Any survivor can self-care, and it completely negates the perk self-care from ever being viable. Why would you run self-care when you could just run Boon Circle of Healing? There's really no reason for it. Also, in the mid-tier, we have Boon Shadow Step. Again, these are my opinions, don't crucify me. Boon Shadow Step hides your aura if you're within its range. Working on a generator, you won't show up on barbecue, and it also hides your scratch marks, so it's a good utility to run the killer through, especially in indoor maps, to try and get away, especially if you're not injured. Directly below that, in low tier, we have Boon Exponential. What Boon Exponential does is it allows survivors to recover from the dying state 100% faster while in its range, and they can also infinitely pick themselves up, like Unbreakable attached to a boon. I think it's low tier because all the killer has to do is just snuff it out. They'll be near enough to it that they should be able to hear it. And then finally, we have the new boon, Boon Dark Theory. Boon Dark Theory grants survivors a 2% haste status effect while in the aura of the boon, and it persists for 4 seconds whenever they leave it. I think this boon can be strong if you combine it with Shadow Step, but on its own, it's pretty ignorable. I don't see you getting very much use out of it. The main concern when it comes to boons I have is not with the mechanic itself. I feel like if you tweak the range numbers a bit on a boon to boon level, it would make things a bit better, or maybe make certain boons persist like they're doing with Boon Dark Theory. However, I think the main problem with boons and the main complaint people have with boons is Circle of Healing. And I am one of the subscribers to the idea that the main issue with Circle of Healing is that it allows any survivor in the trial to self-care for 24 seconds and they'll be fine. No teamwork required, nothing. So to change this, I propose that you just change Circle of Healing back to a 100% healing bonus while in its aura for healing others, and healing yourself if you have a med kit, but it should not unlock the self-care option whatsoever. If a survivor has a med kit, cool, dandy, they should be able to self-care, but if they don't have that, then they should not be able to self-care in the boon without running self-care, without running any med kits or anything. They need to have a teammate to come help them. I think Boon Shadow Step is in a good spot. I think Exponential is also in a good spot. I wouldn't make any changes to those. However, Dark Theory, I think they wanted to make it so that the haste status effect was a 2%, 3%, 4%, but they decided people might freak out a bit much, and 4% is a bit much whenever it comes to a 110 killer. So I think we keep that one as is, see how it falls into the meta whenever it comes into live. We don't touch that one. But Circle of Healing, definitely. So what are the pros to having boons in the game? Well, boons provide an extra objective for survivors to fulfill that isn't time that they're spending on gens, destroying your fucking game and teabagging you in the exegates. Boons are, in a way, a bit of a distraction, but they have payoff. That's the thing. If you put a distraction in the game and the only reward is blood points, nobody's gonna do it besides people who really just don't care about winning. Still, you will have the 4-man bully squads that just ignore the extra blood point actions and just gen rush you. So, boons are great for that. The only con with boons I have is just the self-care circle of healing, and that's a problem with the perk, not the mechanic. I love the boon mechanic. However, if I was to make any change, I would add maybe a 60-second cooldown on boons. If the killer snuffs it out, you can't bless another one for at least 60 seconds. That way you can't just hop over to another one or stealth and re-bless the one that he just snuffed out. Because 14 seconds, let's be real, is not enough time to justify how long a killer has to go out of his way to snuff out a boon, especially one with strongest circle of healing. So overall, boons as a mechanic, good. Could they use some tweaking as a mechanic? Maybe, but my main issue lies with circle of healing. Now let's get on to Scourge Hooks. I love the idea of Scourge Hooks. Specific hooks that give you an advantage just by hooking on there is fucking great. I loved the event hooks in a lot of events that they've done, and the fact that they are now a perk kinda is really nice. Really great idea. What I don't like is what we'll get into, but I want to talk about the perks on an individual level. So I went ahead and ranked all 3 Scourge Hook perks that we have in the game up to Ringu. Of course, Ringu's on the PTB, could be subject to change, but we're going to go off of what they are now. So on the tier list down below, in the top tier, we have Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Whenever you hook a survivor on a Scourge Hook, granted there are 4 that are created, when you hook a survivor on a Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress explodes and all of the survivors scream. This is top tier for me because it is instant damage and it gives you a lot of information if you hear 2 survivors scream or whatnot, and it also combos well with Dead Man's Switch. Now, I was expecting a cheeky little nerf to this. Haven't seen anything just yet, but I think the combination of using Dead Man's Switch and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance is fine. I think a lot of survivors are complaining about it, but it's just good use of perk synergy. We finally have a great perk synergy on killers that isn't just like Ruin Undying or Devour Hope Undying or anything Undying, right? So I definitely love this perk, definitely think it's top tier compared to the others. Second, in mid tier, we have the brand new one called Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. What this hook does is whenever you hook a survivor, it doesn't give you any immediate effect, but whenever somebody goes for the unhook, which normally you will be in another chase, survivors' auras are going to be revealed to you for 7 seconds. I think this is a great perk, not overpowered. It's basically like an I'm all ears, but whenever somebody unhooks, and usually you'll be within a chase. Sometimes I'm all ears can be triggered by a random Meg vaulting like 30 meters away from you, or however, like at the end of the I'm all ears range while you're in chase with another survivor that you would love to use it on. So definitely a great perk. And in low tier, we have the one that started it all, the Cenobites Scourge Hook Gift of Pain. Whenever you hook a survivor on this Scourge Hook, they are immediately affected by a Slobby Butcher type effect, which makes it harder for them to heal, just a wee bit. And then once they heal, they receive a penalty to their gen repair speeds, healing repair speeds, basically everything. So there's incentive to keep yourself injured, and a bit of a downside if you get healed. This perk isn't terrible. Actually, I think this perk is quite good, but on its own, it doesn't do anything too flashy and gets outshadowed by other perks like Pop, Thanatophobia, Ruin, really, just name any regression perk, even the other Scourge Hook perk, and it's just getting outshadowed. So, what would I change about these perks? For Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, if anything, if they want to get rid of the synergy it has with Dead Man's Switch, don't touch the regression, touch the screaming. Just make it so it reveals the survivor's aura for a second or two, and then just don't make the survivor scream and trigger Dead Man's Switch. If you want to have it as information and a bit of damage, that's fine, but if you want to get rid of the Dead Man's Switch synergy, keep the information part of it, but just get rid of the screaming so that they don't get knocked off the gen. The one for the new killer, the Onryo, is fine. I definitely like it. I would not change anything about it. And the one for the Cenobite, I think the Slobby Butcher aspect of it is great. However, I would make the penalty for healing maybe a bit more. It's about 9% right now, so you could probably bump it up to like 12, maybe 15. Just to add a little bit more oomph to it. But overall, I think the main issue with Scourge Hook perks is that it is always 4 hooks. You only have 4 hooks that spawn, no matter what. Even if you equip all 3 of these perks, you're only going to have 4. And this was like a complete shock to me because I tried to equip 2 Scourge Hook hooks thinking that I would have 8 hooks, all with the Scourge Hooks. And I was like, this seems really cool, this seems really neat. But if they keep on adding Scourge Hooks, you get to a point where every hook is a Scourge Hook, and I understand that. So how you balance that while also making it add a little bit more to run multiple Scourge Hooks? I think that it should add 2 hooks, 2 additional Scourge Hooks for every other Scourge perk that you're running. And if you can't do 2, do 1 at least. That way you can have a bit more Scourge Hooks to get more value, and you're running Scourge perks. If you're doing a full Scourge Hook build, like 4 Scourge hooks, I think only 4 hooks is not unless you're running like Iron Grasp Agitation and going completely out of your way to hook somebody on a Scourge Hook every time because there's only 4 in the trial and sometimes they spawn next to each other. You're out of luck. Not to mention, if a survivor dies on a Scourge Hook, it's gone forever. It doesn't transfer to another hook. It's a broken Scourge Hook at that point. So yeah, I believe just a bit of light tweaking to Scourge Hook Gift of Pain, and you should add a mechanic for if you are running additional Scourge Hooks, you should add an extra 1 or 2. Really, it should add 2. But at least 1 more hook should become a Scourge Hook. Just add an extra line of text. If you're running this in addition to other Scourge Hook perks, it creates an additional hook, right? I think that's great. Overall, I like both of these mechanics. I hope we see maybe 1 more Boon and 1 more Scourge Hook with the Anniversary Killer. If not, that's totally okay. We've gotten a lot of love. I at least want 1 more Scourge Hook so I can run a full Scourge Hook build. And that would be even better if they add the change to make it a 1 extra hook. Oh, please, please, please. I'm begging. I'll get down my knees if I have to. Like, please. But yeah, overall, I love Boons. I can't wait to see Circle of Healing get nerfed into the ground, although I do want it to be still viable. I just think they should remove the self-healing aspect, or just make the penalty harder for self-heals. You shouldn't be able to self-care in 24 seconds. I think that's too much still. And Scourge Hooks, they're a really good idea. I really enjoy using them, but I think it would benefit from if you're stacking them to get more. That's really it. That's all I have to say. I'm trying to think of anything else to shit on behavior. The new killer looks really good. I love Sadako. I'm probably gonna main her. And by main her, I mean just play her a lot because I am a fucking Wraith main. But since her power's so similar to Wraith, I really fucking like that. I don't know. I just instantly love this killer. I think it's really funny how Dead by Daylight social media is blowing up because this killer doesn't have any anti-loop, even though they complain about every other killer having anti-loop that they've been adding. So finally, Behavior releases a cool and interesting killer without anti-loop, and you know, that's not automatically top tier breaking the game, and people are upset. They're upset whenever they add a killer with anti-loop, and they're upset whenever they don't add a killer with anti-loop. You just can't please everybody, I guess. But yeah, that's about it. I just want to talk about Boons and Scourge Hooks and whatnot. Mainly just the Scourge Hooks. I really think it's stupid that there's only 4. I'm gonna beat this into the fucking ground. I'm gonna die on this hill 2 years from now and be like, make Scourge Hooks stack better. Fuck, dude. That's about it. But take care. Also, I hope you guys like the VR. The VR. I thought it'd be neat. I keep on hitting my mic though. I'll get better at it. Don't worry. Bye.